you guys doing? Have you guys had a good time? How many of you guys have been here all 3 days? Awesome, awesome, awesome. How many of you guys were here Saturday and Sunday? Okay. And just Sunday? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Well, welcome. Pleasure to have you guys here. I love this panel because I love reconnecting with all of you guys. And this is going to be a very awesome panel as long as you guys participate. It's not going to be awesome if you don't. So, you know. I am going to go through the list of, as I always like to challenge myself mentally to make sure that I am coherent and here and, you know. So I'm gonna basically let you guys all know every single thing that I have done as it relates to everything Digimon. So beginning with season 1, I played in order of appearance. Let's see, Devimon, Digitamamon, and then Piedmon. Thank you guys. Season 2, Digimon Emperor, V-mon, 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 Piedmon, and then Imperial Digimon. Season 3, Impmon, Beelzemon. And then season 4, Grumblemon. Yeah. Season 5 doesn't count. Just kidding. I just wasn't in it. Season 6, which would be part 1 of Digimon Tamer or Digimon Fusion, was Jeremy, and then season 7, part 2 was Jeremy, and then Zeolzamon. So there you go. Almost every single season, which just does not happen very often. And I am extremely blessed and fortunate as an actor to have been cast in all of those seasons. So I'm not gonna be able to get really technical with you guys because as an actor, I barely remember each show. The only time that I really remember anything was probably season 2. Because I had so much involvement both as V-mon and the Digimon Emperor. So I was pretty much in every single episode. So I can answer questions as it relates to stuff as it pertains to my characters, but as it relates to maybe stuff in general, I probably won't be able to help you out on that. Cool? So as it relates to that stuff, I am very interested in finding out questions that you guys may have had through the years that maybe you never got answers to that maybe I might be able to help you out with as it relates to those characters. So, please come forward. Hey.
Hello. I just wanted to know what your favorite line from the English dub of the Digimon movie was.
My favorite line from the dubbing movie?
The dub of the Digimon movie.
Okay. Are you check this out.
Okay.
Okay, so I didn't go into the Digimon movie as part of the characters that I did. There was a character I left out. And I'm glad you actually asked me that question because I left that character out on purpose. How many of you guys remember the Digimon movie?
It's my favorite movie of all time.
Okay. Who remembers the one character that I did who basically saved the entire world because without this character, there wouldn't be a Digimon movie?
Uh-oh. I'm a fake fan.
Does anybody know that character?
Enlighten us.
Get out, all of you!
We're all fake fans.
No. It is kind of a joke question. So I don't expect you to know what that answer was. You could be the most awesomest fan in the world, and that's okay. So there was one character that I did I don't know why I was chosen to do this character. I think they were just probably looking for filler character lines because they needed to get everything done and off the books. There's one part after the Digiverse starts coming into the regular world, like they start seeing parts of it, you know, in different pieces and stuff. And there's this one character who comes in basically because everybody's in despair, nobody knows what to do, people are getting hungry. Okay. And so there's this pizza guy that drives up in a pizza truck. And he goes, "Here's your pizza!"
Oh my God!
That was me.
Without him, oh my God.
That was my favorite line in the movie. Thank you very much. Who else has got a question? Anybody? Yeah, come on up.
Hello again, it's me,
Hey.
Kevin. For the Outcast panel.
Yeah.
Okay, this is my first time asking this question ever, so apologies in advance if I make a mistake.
That's okay.
Independently from your occupation, who are you?
That's actually a really great question. A lot of people know me as Derek Stephen Prince because that is the name that I use for all of the stuff that I do as it relates to anything voiceover. Most people who know me, like as a person, know me as Steve Prince. That's the name that I usually go by. And as it relates to that, I would like to say that I completely make my living from doing voiceover work, but that just isn't the case in my case. A lot of people do. A lot of people are able to find a lot of work every single day in the voiceover world. I don't. So I do have another job as it relates to getting bread and butter on the table, which is real estate. So I actually work for Keller Williams Realty and have been an agent for the past 23 years, 22 years, something like that.
Oh,
So-
as long as your voice acting career.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Good question, though, man.
Yes,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Claire.
Hey.
And my question for you is, in Digimon Tamers,
Speak numbers to me, because I don't
Season
remember.
3.
Okay, perfect.
what was your favorite part about playing Impmon?
What was my favorite part about playing Impmon?
Yes.
Great question. You don't have to stand up there. Once you ask the question, you're more than welcome to sit down, unless you want to stand up.
I want to stand.
Okay, cool. That's perfectly fine, too. So, great question. It kind of dovetails into part of what I like to talk about as it relates to Digimon. I was very fortunate in the sense that in being in almost every single season, what I often like to do as an actor is if I really appreciate another actor's work, I like to pay homage to that actor. In season 1, I don't know how many of you guys are going to correlate this, but once I start talking about it, you guys are going to go, "Oh my gosh, he is so right." So as it relates to season 1, Piedmon. Anybody remember Piedmon?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the scariest Dark Masters. That was a homage to Tim Curry as Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now do you hear it? It's like, oh my God, that's right. Okay, season 2. I did not actually do anything in season 2 as it relates. Well, Digitamamon was in season 1 and season 2, right? Yeah. Okay, so I will dovetail. There was one character who went from season 1 to season 2, but season 1, Digitamamon, I also did homage to an actor. Many of you guys may not even know who I'm talking about or about to talk about, but I grew up with a lot of actors from the 1940s and 50s because that's what my dad was really into. And Peter Lorre was an actor that I really admired, and so Digitamamon is a version of Peter Lorre.
Awesome.
Because if you remember what Digimon sounded like, it was very much like Peter Lorre, So there was that. So now season 3, we're getting to that. Impmon. I freaking love Joe Pesci. He is my freaking idol. I love everything that he does. It doesn't matter. And man, when he starts talking like this, and just like, hey, now it's like, oh my gosh, that not only is Impmon, but that's also like a little bit of Iggy from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, which is a little bit like everything else. So that was my homage to Joe Pesci as far as Impmon goes. That was the best part of Impmon that I loved. That and the fact that until last year when I started introducing this panel to a lot of other conventions, one of those happened to be, it was last year, yeah. I don't remember which convention it was at, but it was huge, where myself and Colleen O'Shaughnessy and Paul St. Peter and who else was in it? Steve Bloom, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and Bo Billingsley were all on the same panel, on a Digimon panel. It was the first time all of us had ever been in the same room together at the same time. Wow. And we were doing the panel, and as we started talking, and we were talking about season 3, and one of the fans was asking me about Impmon, Steve's sitting like 2 seats away from me, and as I'm talking about Impmon, and I'm going, some of the lines that I like bada boom, Steve looks over to me and he goes, dude, you played Impmon? He goes, I wrote the entire season for that show, and I never knew who you were. And it's like stuff like that, which is just like cosmic. It was just a really cool bonding moment because I love Steve to death. Steve and I have been really good friends for a long time, but we never knew that about each other. I didn't know he wrote for season 3, and he didn't know that I was Impmon. He goes, I loved writing for you. Oddly enough, as part of season 3, if any of you guys remember the game that kind of bridged season 2 and season 3 together, there was a game. I think it was what? No, not that one. It was another one that had Beelzemon in it and V-mon. I don't remember.
Digimon World 4?
Huh?
Digimon World 4?
What? I'm sorry, what?
Digimon World 4?
No, it's a different one. If somebody remembers the name of it, huh? Okay, cool. So in that one, it was very rare that we actually put the cart before the horse. But in this case, that happened because we had no idea who the characters were in season 3 when we did the game. So it was kind of an introduction to some of the characters for that game in season 3. We had no idea who Beelzemon was. All we knew is that he rode a bike, he was a Digimon, and bike meaning motorcycle bike. Yeah. And he was just a badass, And I go, you know what, wouldn't it be cool? Because Mary Elizabeth McGlynn and I go way back as well, and I go, Mary, wouldn't it be really cool if maybe I can pay homage to another actor? And she goes, who'd you have in mind? I go, well, I was kind of thinking of Sylvester Stallone. And she goes, do it. So we did, and here's what happened. So, as you know, Beelzemon does not sound like Sylvester Stallone in the series, right? He sounds a lot more gruff, like just straight, kind of badass Digimon. We couldn't do it because on Fox Kids, Fox was concerned that when we went into season 3, that we would get sued because Beelzemon sounded too much like Sylvester Stallone,
Okay.
which was a great compliment to me,
Yeah.
but not for the show. So we had to change the voice for Beelzemon in the show as opposed to what he was in the game. But in the game, it was like, it was like, hey, Jerry, how you doing? Hey! And that's what he was in the game. So if you guys go back, whatever that game happens to be, did you find it? No? Okay. That's all right. But, yeah. And then continuing on, I know this is a very long-winded answer for your question, I'm sorry, but hopefully it's entertaining. Season 4, Grumblemon, I paid homage to a older actor from earlier than the 40s, but he was in the 40s as well, Jimmy Durante. That was basically Jimmy Durante as Grumblemon. And then season 6, I didn't do anything as far as Jeremy goes, but season 7, when I had a chance to do Zaelzamon, I always wanted to pay homage to Monty Python. I never had a chance to do that. So if you guys ever saw part 2 of Digimon Fusion, where I play Zaelzamon, who's one of the bad Digimon in it, I basically paid homage to Monty Python Holy Grail and did a Frenchman. So, the very bad Frenchman, that was Zaelzamon. It was like, what are you doing? And it was awesome. So, if you guys go back and are able to watch any of those Digimon stuff now, all of that stuff that I just mentioned to you will start making sense. It's like, oh my God, that is Joe Pesci. Or, oh my God, that is Tim Curry, So I love doing stuff like that. But that was a fantastic question. Thank you for asking it.
You're welcome, and thank you for your answer.
You. Yeah. Shirtless man.
Hey,
Shirtless man. Yes.
It's not a question, but she's too shy. She's up there with all the Pesci comments. She's getting real excited.
That's okay.
She wanted me to come up to you because when we first got together, actually, she came out. She has short hair and a ponytail.
Okay.
She came out once with her hair straight back, and one of the things that we fell in love. I go, you look like Piedmon, because her hair went just straight back, and she goes, oh my God, he voiced Frieza once too. And the trailer, she goes, and we nerd out. So every year on our anniversary, we watch that whole series. And she's actually cosplaying Piedmon soon.
Okay.
We're big fans. So she was too nervous to tell you, so I wanted to come up and at least give you that, because I know you guys like hearing that. But
yeah.
So we're big fans.
That's awesome. I very rarely, if ever, see Piedmon cosplayed, so that would be fantastic.
But thank you, man.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you guys are aware of this. Okay, not to make everybody feel really old right now, but next year will be the 20th anniversary for Digimon Season 1. I'm so serious as a heart attack. It's scary. Oh my God. What? Wow. Dude, that's awesome.
I'm so happy you like the costume. I worked very
That's
hard.
amazing.
I have a request. I don't know if you'll be able to do it with what the fellow said before, but
Yeah.
I thought it would be so wonderful if we could reenact the scene where Myotismon has invaded the physical world and they're searching for the 8th Digi-destined child. And Wizardmon has just found Kari's Digivice in a bird's nest, and Devimon flies up and says, "Hey, Wizardmon, what you got there?" And he has a hilarious answer, but
you know what? I don't even remember the scene, to be honest with you.
it's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right. The answer is like, okay, Wizardmon's like, okay, I'll tell you, but you have to promise not to tell Myotismon. It's green chili sauce. It's great on tacos.
That is amazing. May I take a picture of you?
Of course.
That is just fabulous. Dude. So awesome. I'm assuming you made all that from scratch, yes?
Yeah. Except I bought the coveralls, but
Okay.
bought the boots, but
Yeah.
made the prop.
Hey,
sewed the costume.
you know what? Still amazing.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean,
Really good job.
I don't have, aside from that, I don't have a question. I just
That's all right.
love your work. I'm honored to
Thank you.
Get to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you, I don't know how many of you guys know about Robert Axelrod, who played Wizardmon. If you guys know him on Facebook or on Instagram, just send some love his way. He could use it, right about now.
Hi there. Love your work.
Thank you.
I was just curious. I asked this in the previous panel in here. I know that a lot of the voice actors are trained in theater or some form of acting before.
Yeah.
And I'm a theater graduate, and I thought it would be a really interesting question to ask the actors what field of study you were taught in, if any, like Meisner, Stanislavski.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting question. So I have been acting ever since I was like about 9 years old. As a child actor, and I did a lot of television and commercials, then moved into stage, and then learned mime and musical theater, and then did all that stuff in high school. I did voices, although I wasn't aware that I was doing voices at the time as a kid, but it helped me later on. And then when I graduated from high school, I went to Carnegie Mellon University, which is where I studied musical theater. And based on what I was taught from the professors, the primary technique that we learned was Alexander technique as it related to voice, not as it related to acting. But as far as the acting stuff goes, there wasn't any specific locale like Meisner or anything like that. We were taught to try and come up with, just a raw way of being able to act, which was awesome to learn. But as it relates to voice specifically, Alexander technique was what the preferred method, if you want to call it that, was. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you. That was a great question. That's awesome. You guys are asking some great questions. Yeah.
All right, so I like
Hi.
to ask this to all the voice actors, but what would your character, all the characters that you've ever voiced for Digimon, talk about after a long day's filming, or
Recording.
in a bar? Or like, what would they talk about?
What would, I want to make sure I understood the question correctly.
Yeah.
So repeat it.
What would all your Digimon talk about after a long day recording session in the bar?
What would they talk about after a long recording session in a bar? All of the Digimon that I've ever voiced, like together, what would they be talking about?
Roughly, yeah.
It's like this crazy actor that came up with our voices. It's like, who is this guy? It's like, he is just out there, man. Like whack. He is a whack job. Like from Piedmon to V-mon to Beelzemon to dude, this guy's sick. He needs some help. He needs to get some therapy. And I recently found this out. Somebody pointed me to a YouTube channel where somebody comprised the 10 top evil villains from Digimon. And I was in the top 3. Well, I wasn't in the top 3, but out of the 10, 3 of my characters were in there. And it's okay, I really am sick. If out of all the bad guys from all seasons of Digimon and 3 of mine were in there out of 10, it's that's a pretty good batting average. So, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing, and I think this probably, you guys could probably, in thinking about some of the performances that I've done in the past for the characters that I've done, can probably relate to this. As an actor, right, when people come I'm gonna sound a little silly here for a second, but when babies are born out of the womb, okay, they are not born evil, right? Something in society causes them over time to be that way. Now, as an actor, we don't get the history of where these characters come from. That's our job to be able to come up with, right? We aren't given where all this, it's like, there it is. He's just in this particular episode, or he's in this particular season, and you have to be able, as an actor, to be able to come up with that history. So that's always the challenge for us. But what I love about that, especially as it relates to bad guys, is that if you're really good at what you do in your craft, a bad guy is not just a bad guy. There's humanity in them somewhere, even if it's just a small little piece of humanity. And if you're able to bring that out somehow, even though you hate the bad guy, there's a part of you that can't hate them completely, 100%. There's like, oh, I want to hate you, but it's like, what is it about you that I like? And I tried to do that with every single character that I had as far as bad guys go. And hopefully that came out. I would probably have to say, because I'm sure this is probably going to come up as a question, but I'm just going to go ahead and answer it now. Like, out of all the characters that I played in the Digimon world, which one was my favorite? I would have to say, without a doubt, that would have to be the Digimon Emperor. Now, here's the thing. In anime, we don't know the whole storyline from beginning to end. And I almost didn't even play the Digimon Emperor. When I was the only season that I never auditioned for was season 4. Every other season that I auditioned for, I had to win that part. And when I was initially asked to audition for season 2, the only character that I was asked to audition for was V-mon, because they knew that I could do character roles, right? I was cutesy, I could do, stuff, like they've heard me do stuff in the past because Saban owned that particular product at that time, along with Fox Kids. So they knew, without a doubt, like, just let him audition for V-mon, he could probably book it and we'll be good. What they didn't know is all the other stuff that I could do, because I never had an opportunity to show them that as an actor. And so I'm going to start talking about something that hopefully will speak to all of you in some way, shape, or form. I had the opportunity when I auditioned for V-mon. They had all the parts, all the sides. I don't know if any of you guys know what a side is, but basically it's like a character picture along with a description of what that character is, as much as they know about the character, and some lines from a couple of episodes that were in the very beginning, which is all that they got. They had 10 episodes at a time at that time. So they didn't know anything beyond the first 10 episodes. So nobody knew that the Digimon Emperor was also Kenichi Joji, okay? That it was just a bad kid in a digital world, and he's a bad guy. That's it. So when I saw all of the other parts that were there, and this was a SAG, it was a union product, so per union rules, you have 15 minutes to be able to go ahead and give them the best that you've got, and that's all that you have. They'll cut you off at the 15-minute mark. Like, sorry, we have to let the next actor come in. So as an actor, what I always try and do is be very respectful of the time, number one. And number two, if I have an opportunity to be able to do something else, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of that. So I saw all the characters there. I saw Davis, who I really wanted to do. And then I also saw the Digimon Emperor. And when I was done with V-mon, auditioning for V-mon, I saw Davis, so I auditioned for Davis. And I also auditioned for, or I wanted to audition for the Digimon Emperor. And I said, you know what, guys, I'd really like to do this. I've got some time, left. Can I do this? So this is what happened on the other side of the window. So basically, I'm in a booth. I'm in a sound booth with a microphone and a pop filter, and there's a window where they had not only the casting director, but the producer and the other director. You okay? Okay, good. Don't run too fast. They also had the writers that were there, and they had some of the original people from Japan that were also there for this audition. It was a huge, huge thing because it, at this point in time, had gotten a lot of publicity. So it wasn't really competing with Pokemon anymore. It was like its own right, it was its own thing. So there was a lot of attention now on season 2, and they wanted to get the best actors that they could get for season 2. So as it relates to that, here I am on the other side of the booth, and I'm saying I would really like to audition for the Digimon Emperor. So this is what was happening on the other side of the window. Okay, I can't hear anything that's going on unless they push what's called a talkback button, where you can hear what people are saying on the other side. So I say, I want to go ahead and audition for the Digimon Emperor. And this is what's happening on the other side of the window, based on the main person who I was talking to, who is the director. It's okay. And I said, guys, I have, by right, in terms of SAG regulations, I have at least 4 minutes left in my audition. I would like to take advantage of that, and I'd like to do that. But I forgot one part of the story. So they said, that's okay. And I took that very much to heart, it's like a stab in your chest, and I was almost ready to walk out the door. And I was almost at the door, and that's when I came back and I said, no, guys, look, I have a few minutes left to be able to do this audition, and I'd like to take full advantage of that. I almost didn't. And I said, please give me the opportunity to be able to take advantage of this and do what I think, my interpretation of what I think the Digimon Emperor should be. And they go, okay, go ahead, show us what you got. Nobody was taking me seriously. And I did the audition, and after I was done with the audition, this was with the reaction on the other side of the window. Wow. Okay, thank you. Completely different, like for the first time. But because what they were going for, and I'm sure this is what was going on, they wanted to make sure whoever they got for the lead bad guy, which is all that they knew at that time when they started the show, they wanted to make sure it was either a name person or somebody who was going to blow them out the door. And me almost not doing that, not asserting myself, because I'm sure we have all been in a situation at some point in time or another in our life where it's like people have said no to us, people have given us negativity, people have tried to run us down and saying you're not good enough, you're not whatever enough. It's like, forget about it. Have we all been there at some point in time in our life? Yes. If we are at least over the age of 10, I'm sure it's happened to all of us at some point in time in our life, right? So I bring that story up because if I didn't do that, my favorite character in the Digimon universe never would have existed for me as an actor. And for you guys who saw the show, those of you who saw season 2, I'm sure there was probably some other actor out there who wanted the job just as much as I did. And they probably would have done it justice, maybe not as much justice as I would have done, but probably would have done an okay job. But it wouldn't have been my version of the Digimon Emperor. And I'm so grateful that they actually took that audition seriously after I did it. Because look what happened, right? So if that's just, anything for you guys, if you take anything away from this panel, take that away. People can bring you down. People can bring you negativity. People can tell you no. People can say you're not good enough, whatever the case might be. If you take anything away from this panel, take that away with you today, please. I am paying you homage right now, young man, because that is awesome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
What is your favorite line when you're a Piedmon?
As Piedmon? I don't remember a lot of what he said. There were a couple of catchphrases that I do remember, but it's only because fans like yourself reminded me of what, of stuff that he said. So I don't mean to avoid the question for you, but I really don't remember a lot of the stuff that Piedmon said. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to ask you, what was your favorite line that Piedmon said?
I forgot some of them.
Yeah?
Like when he's like cutting the rope. Like when you're falling now. This is the end of the line.
Yeah? Okay. What was it?
This is your end of the line.
This is your end of the line?
Yeah, when the TK and Kari was climbing up the rope.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. Would you mind if I take a really quick picture of you? Is that okay? Is that okay? Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
Who's your favorite character from the Digimon series?
Well, since you kind of came in a little bit after when I was talking about that last thing, but to answer your question, my favorite character in the whole Digimon series, like out of all the seasons that I did, was the Digimon Emperor. So if you haven't had a chance to see season 2, I'm not sure where you can find it now. Does anybody know the answer to that? Yes. On iTunes? What? Seriously?
What?
Wow, I did not know that. So you can get, according to this gentleman, you can buy every single season from Digimon on iTunes for $15 each. Correct? The entire season?
It's
$14.99.
For season 1, volume 1, volume 2.
Okay.
All the way up.
Wow.
All of them, instead of having them as individual seasons,
That's amazing.
to volumes.
Wow, that's great.
I've seen all the seasons.
You have. So you know what I'm talking about, right? Did you like the Digimon Emperor?
Yes, it was
he
really
scary
good.
at first?
No,
No.
because I knew it was animation.
Oh. Smart kid, man. Because it's animation, he wasn't scared. So that's a great answer, dude. I really like your answer. Thank you very much. Appreciate your question. Kids these days, man. It's crazy. Crazy good.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Everybody from now on, you have to get on your knees. Kneel before me.
You really are the emperor.
No. Kneel before me. Now
go.
I'm the emperor. There you go.
That's the jerk
All right.
we all know.
Yes.
Just kidding. So I love drawing Digimon. I grew up drawing Digimon my whole entire life. I mean, since I was a kid. Did any of the characters' appearance or drawings influence the way your voice sounded like for the characters you played?
Totally. Okay, so this question was, were any of the drawings that were done for the Digimon series, did that influence how I voiced a character? Okay, so check this out. How many season 2 fans? Yeah? Okay, a few of you. So when I, keeping in mind the fact that because this came from Japan initially, which we call OJ, original Japanese, a lot of times the production did want the voice to sound similar to what was already done. Now, in certain instances, we were given the liberty to try and find our own voice for the character, right? But when we were initially auditioning for the character, which I had to do in every single season except for season 4, as I mentioned. Season 5. No, I wasn't in season 5, so that didn't matter. Right, but season 4. I didn't have to audition for that. I was just given the part. But for season 2 especially, okay? So when I was going back to that story where I was looking at all the characters and I was seeing who I wanted to audition for, right? And I saw V-mon, who I was initially auditioning for anyway because that's what they brought me in for. So I will go through as much as I can remember of the transformation of what happened, okay? So I'm looking at the character. Character's blue. Character's got bat ears. Character has fangs. Character's probably, if I was imagining how the character would look in real life, right? The character was probably about, if he was standing on the table, he was probably about that big. Right? So he would probably come to here on me as a Digimon if I was human, right? Yeah. So he's small. But he's also the lead Digimon, and he basically he rallies all the other Digimon together, so he has a lot of energy at the same time. So here I am, I'm looking at this as an actor, I'm going, okay, so the dude's small, so he's not gonna have a big voice, he's gonna have a small voice. And as a small voice with a lot of energy, he's probably got a lot of energy, right? And he's cute because everybody likes to, you know, that cute type of Digimon voice thing going on, right? And if he has a lot of energy and he's constantly moving around and, oh, wait a minute, he's got fangs. But because it's Fox Kids, right? We all are laughing because we know where I'm going with this. You have to be very conscious of who you offend and who you don't offend. So I couldn't go in there with a total lisp thing going on because that would offend everybody who's got a speech impediment, right? But he does have fangs. And when you have fangs, you're not going to talk normal because you've got that tongue hitting the back of those two fang teeth. So basically, with all that putting together, that really affected, to answer your question very long-windedly, that really affected how I was going to sound when I auditioned for V-mon. And as we all know, those of us who like that creature, you know, that's what V-mon became. He became this cute little, you know, blue, furry, energetic creature with fangs that talked like this. So Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. Don't ask me where I got Piedmon from, and he just was a warped, sick man. I have to be very careful what I say.
So the little ones right here.
Yes.
They want to know.
Yeah.
If you could voice any other character in the entire Digimon universe, who would you want to voice and why?
Ooh, that is a great question. Who would I want to voice and why? Any other character? Who would I want to voice and why? Well, I'll tell you something, guys. As you know, from the characters that I voiced, I never got to voice a lead tamer, like a human.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Never, ever, ever. And the only humans that I have voiced, if they were human, they were either sidekicks or they were bad guys that became good guys, right? But I was never a good guy to begin with. I was never the guy in the goggles. Why?
That's my favorite human character.
And can somebody please finally answer the question for me? Why does the lead human person have to wear goggles?
I don't know.
What's the deal with that?
I don't know.
Are they blind? Like, in some respect, do they not see for themselves without goggles? Can they not be human without goggles? What's the deal?
I don't know.
I don't either. I really want to know the answer to that.
He was a pilot.
Okay. Okay, I can go with that answer. He's a pilot. Good job. But if I don't necessarily need to have a name of any specific human tamer. I just wanted to be one. I never had that opportunity.
My question
Is it? Yeah, you just got to put your mouth right over there so I can hear you.
Okay, so my question.
And everybody else can.
So my question is like, what do you think is like the special quality of Digimon that connects to fans so much that it can last this long? Because we've seen so many other Fox Kid series that no one even talks about them anymore.
Yep. So great question, which I'm going to answer. Thank you so much for asking it. This is my own personal opinion, okay? It's nobody else's, just coming from me as an actor and somebody who's been involved in a lot of the seasons of Digimon, okay? Why has Digimon lasted as long as it does, where we've got kids that were you at that age when Digimon started, right? For the most part, a lot of you guys were probably their age when you saw Digimon on Fox Kids on Saturdays. And we're seeing this amazing show. What has lasted so long in terms of the longevity for that show to make it last as long as it has? Here's my answer. I think it speaks to a lot of us, okay, going back to our kids, kid childhood days, right? I think the reason, one of the major reasons, I'm not bashing Pokemon in any way, shape, or form, but when you had two shows that were very similar in nature, and Digimon was competing against that when Pokemon was already way off to the running, right? It had been on for a few seasons. And now here comes this new show called Digimon, like Pokemon, because they both got Mon in the name, right?
They're little cute monsters.
Right. What made this show different as opposed to Pokemon? I'm going to compare the two. I think a big difference is that it actually had a story that kids could relate to in a way that no other show at that time, either anime-wise or animation-wise, were even talking about. And that this concept right? This concept that these Japanese came up with 20 years ago, where it's like, wait a minute, you're talking about something at that point in time that was not very talked about, okay? The internet? What's the internet 20 years ago, right? This digital universe where kids can actually be sucked in through a computer and taken to a different reality, and are basically in charge of kids, mind you, kids that are in charge of saving the universe. Because if they don't, then the whole world could crumble around them, and everybody that they know and love can be taken with that. And when you've got that kind of a concept and that type of storyline that kids can actually latch onto immediately because they're all kids that are responsible, and being pitted against, an alternate reality that if they don't save that reality, theirs could perish. It's like, what? Wow, I really like this type of concept. This is cool. And you can't help but being sucked in the way that they did it, darn them, Digimon writers, it was like a serial. If you miss an episode, oh, you're screwed. It's like, wait, what happened? What happened in the last episode? Because I missed it. It's like a soap opera. It's like you have to watch every single one, and if you don't, you're messed up. Because it's like, oh, wait, what was that? What happened in that last one? And I think that was a lot of the draw. You had to. It's like, and then once you did, you got sucked. You got sucked into that world. And you couldn't help but not be sucked into it because it was so compelling, having all these kids being pitted against everybody else in the other universe, And am I right? Is that not all why we all love that show? Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think it lost some of its charm over time, unfortunately, because a lot of things took place that didn't help it. But at least in the first 3 seasons, if not 4, it was a very strong show. And I think that's why a lot of the charm for kids like that, still exists today. And I love that. I love that about it. Great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Hey. Yes. Kneel before me.
I was just curious if there are any voice actors in the industry that you've had the chance to work with more than once that you particularly enjoy working with.
Are there any actors that in the industry who I like working with who...
Like maybe you've worked with them over multiple shows.
Over multiple shows.
That you just enjoy working
Yeah.
with.
It's rare that, at least in the anime world, that we even know who the other actors are, much alone get to even work with them, because usually when you're doing anime, you're by yourself in a booth, in a recording booth, and that's it. And it's sad that you don't have that interaction with other actors to be able to kind of help share in that enjoyment in terms of being able to kind of play off of each other like you do in original animation. That happens a lot. But in anime, it doesn't. But to answer your question, which I can kind of do, because the only reason why I know who some of the other actors are is because, when I went back and I go, oh, wow, I didn't know that actor was that person or that character or whatever. I have loved working with Steve Bloom. Amazing actor. Amazing. That he and I are even in some of the shows that we are in together is just... But going to that, to answer your question, so Steve and I have been in Cowboy Bebop together, which for any of you Cowboy Bebop fans is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year.
Saw the movie for it.
Yeah. And he and I were also in another show together where I played his sidekick in this. Oh my gosh, it's gonna kill me now that I can't remember the name of it. But he was the lead and I was his sidekick, and it was a show about these two pirate cowboys that have to try and save like this town from being taken over by these bad Japanese guys, and I can't remember the name of the show for the life of me, man. But if any of you guys know Tochiro, the character that I did from that, he was this. You're nodding yes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know the name of the show? I know, right? It's on the tip of my tongue too, and I can't think of it. But that was an amazing show. If you guys ever have the opportunity to watch that show, it's absolutely amazing. If I can remember the name of what it was. But Steve and I have had a lot of fun together working over the years, and even though we weren't in the same, even though we weren't in the same room at the same time, the fact that we knew that each other was working, in that same show has been amazing. And Naruto, he was in Naruto. He was in at least the first season as one of those bad guys, that main bad guy that I can't remember. Zaza. Oh my gosh, hated him. But yeah, that would probably be one of my top ones.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
All right, folks, so we're actually out of time. So one more round of applause for Derek, Steve, and Brent. Thank you so much for joining us this year. Hopefully we'll have you back for the